Phones are good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, I think we're just three in here. Let's wait for some minutes for other people to join us. Okay, then we start. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's second session for today, financial management. We're looking at how a school can be financially stable. Okay, we're looking at financial management for schools. What can they do to ensure that at the end of the year they keep making what profit? Their expenses is less than the income, and they end up making profit while still meeting up with their obligations. Let me start my video. Can you hear me? Just wave your hand if you can hear me.
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so like I was saying, how they can be financially stable, how they can make profits. Because if you look at it, a school is a business, except it's a non-governmental or a charity school. Yeah, but apart from that, if it's a school set up to make money, it's a business. Okay, and at the end of the day, you have to make money. Do you understand? You have to smile to your bank at the end of the year and say, this is the profit I've made. Okay, while still meeting your obligations. You know your obligations. Your obligations are what? Your salaries, your daily business run, your daily operations or your weekly operations or your operations in general. Okay, your expenses. Okay, those are your obligations. You're still meeting them and you're still making profit. So how does that work? How do we do that? How do we achieve that? Okay, we have different things to look at. Okay, we're looking at let me see whiteboard. I'm going to write on my whiteboard. Okay. Okay, so let me share my whiteboard. Okay, so we have different things to look at. Okay, we're looking at budgeting. Okay, budgeting, that's like key. That's like the number one. Do you understand? If you don't have a budget, there's no way your school can be financially stable. If you don't have a budget, there's no way you can make profit at the end of the day. Do you understand? Your budget allows you to what? To price, to get and price right. Do you understand? If you have a budget, you can say, okay, this is how much I'm expecting, this is how much is going out. Do you get? Can say, okay, with this going out, what is the issue? What can I try? Do I need to do right? Do I need to do differently? That means what? Should I go back to my pricing and what got the price? Do you understand? Reset my price, or do I need to look at my expenses and say, am I spending too much? Do you get? You can look at and say, okay, am I spending too much on what? On staffing? Am I spending too much on what? On my daily operations? Okay, that's buying of this, buying of buying, doing one or two other things. Okay, or what do I need to do? I need to increase the number of students in my school. Okay, what if I'm all mic space? What if what's it called? What if I'm up to capacity? What do I do? Do I need to? So how else can I what? If my business is up to capacity, then what? How else can I make profit? What else can I do? Do I need to open up other profit centers, or do I just increase my pricing like that and say, okay, because I can't do my patient anymore and my classroom is full, my school has gone up? No, that will definitely have what? A negative effect on what? On your what's called on your school. You can't just increase price your school fees like that. Okay, so now we're looking at budget. Budget is what? Is a plan. It shows you a plan. You look at your entire financial year and say, okay, how do I spend my money? How much is coming in? So you have that full plan, that full year's plan, and say, this is how much is coming in, this is how much is what is going out. Do you understand? And you break up that into what? Into weekly or into termly, what's called termly budgets. Okay, and say in this term, this is how much and what I'm expected to what to make. I must have what? A balanced budget at the end of the day. A balanced budget shows that what your income is what is more than your expenses. Do you understand? You break it up about that termly budget into weekly budget and say, okay, every week, this is how much I need is coming, this is how much I need to spend. Do you get? If you have that, that's your guide. That is your guide to what? To say, okay, if your accountant comes to you today, or you're the accountant and say, okay, today, or comes to you today and say, sorry, we don't have what's called, we don't have this, we don't have to buy that. You go back to your budget and check and say, okay, if I should take, are we above budget, or we are still within what's our budget? Do you understand? That's what the importance of what of having what a good budget, or having a budget. A budget is very what important. Okay. Then from that again, you look at, okay, even with my budget, you still have situations where things don't go according to plan. You say, okay, I have a budget, but at the end of the day, I'm still making a loss. What's going on? Okay, you need to start checking where are the monies what, or where is the money going? Okay, you need to start checking for what, for all those loopholes, and say, okay, how do I block these loopholes? Okay, so I remember we went to a school to audit the school. The school is a very big school, very big school. They've been in operations for the past I think close to 20 years now, yes, or 25 years. But up till that day, they were still what making what a loss. They have over 300, 400 students, and they're still making a loss. How? To get one, all these prices are not what being put in place. There's no budget. So a budget is very important. They have also loopholes where people come in, the driver comes in today and saying the tire is bad. They buy tire every day. Do you understand? They change their tires every day. They fix this one every day. They do that one every day. How will they end up in profit? They have debtors from 2 sessions ago that have not paid, and they are still in the school. You get? So all these things are what I think you need to put in place to check and say, okay, if I do this, if I want to have a financially stable school, I need to plug some of these holes. Number one, I'll do that by having a good budgeting system. Like I said, your budget is the entire plan. Then break down into termly and into weekly plan. Okay, and you go again and say, okay, if I have my what's my budget, I need to look at my expenses. Okay, how do I record my expenses? How do I record this expenses? Then you need to have what? A sheet. You can't just come into school. You can't just have an accountant or your school and say, okay, just go to the bank and withdraw money without recording those expenses. There's something you call what? A weekly expense sheet. Okay, a weekly expense sheet shows you have a plan and take it. This week, this is what you need to spend. We're not spending more than this. Do you understand? You know those things that takes out money from that you spend money on every day. For example, like your bus, your what's called your fueling of generator, your maybe your airtime, your bottled water, and those things. Okay, those are the things that you spend money on weekly. So every week you know how much you apportion to those things. Do you understand? And as they come, they withdraw the money, they spend, they record it. It gives you a clear oversight and say, okay, at the end of this week, this is how much you've spent. This is how much is left. Oh, we've gone past what we budgeted for this week. What happened? Do you understand? You can't keep doing that. The next week, it gives you a clear and answer, okay, do we need to now increase this particular thing, or is there a loophole somewhere? Do we need to change that thing, or we need to add more money to that particular thing? Okay, and as you're doing that, you are going to and say, okay, if we did it, then definitely our profit will be less than that amount of what we've added to it. Okay, no, if you've done that again, you also need to look at your school and say, okay, what are my cost centers? What are my profit centers? Okay, your cost centers are those things that take money from you. For example, your operations, your salary. Okay, they're your cost centers. They take money from you. And if you have more cost centers and profit centers, then there's evidence that you end up in a red. Okay, so your profit centers are those things that make money to you. For example, let me wipe this. Let me create a new board. There are those things that brings in money to you. Okay, so for example, your profit centers can be. Let me see if I can create a new whiteboard. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, so your profit centers are those things that bring money to you. That you have your tuition. Okay. You have your course, curricular activities. Okay. What else do you have? You can say, okay, if these are all your profit centers, okay, how much they bring? Your tuition is what? In as much as is a profit center, is one that takes care of most of your bills. Okay, if from tuition you get your salary, from tuition you pay what's for your operations. If from tuition you pay for one or two other things. Okay, why these ones are the most or the main profit or like the other profit center, not the main profit center. Your tuition is like the main profit center. So this one are the other profit center. So you have your bus, lunch, your extracurricular activities. Okay, and all the money that this is what pushing the effect of your expenses. So if you look at your expenses and see that your expenses are more, and there's a way for you to reduce your expenses, that means you have to increase your profit center. Okay, you need to have probably add more, get more students for the bus, get more students for lunch, for activities, all. Okay, for people to use. You can try to make use of or to rent out your bus for other schools to make use of. Do you understand? You can try to say, okay, want to start making photocopies. Probably there's no photocopy center or business center in that area. You can try to them yes, sorry, Mr. Isaac, for you. Because we started late, that's why I just had to jump into what's called into it. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. My apologies, please. My apologies. Yeah, everybody should have introduced themselves. I'm really sorry. We are just 40 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so like I was saying, our profit centers. Yeah, you have to like increase our profit centers. Bus, lunch, what's called enrichment. Can start to add more to it and say, okay, these are my profit centers. I need to add more to it. This is not what's called sustaining us anymore. Okay, so like I said, two ways: either you increase the activities of the profit centers you already have, or you look at adding more profit centers to what is on ground. Okay, but like I said, the most important thing is what is always try as possible to cut your expenses. It is very, very important. Don't say because want to be a big school, want to be a known school, want to be an international school. Now do what will definitely affect you. I always think of of numbers. You think of your numbers before you do anything, before you add more teachers to your school, before you get that playground equipment, before you get that what's called the needed facilities. You need to think of numbers. Think of the numbers first. Run it by the book. Okay, go to your budget, go to your cash flow statement. We'll talk about that as we go on. Go to your budget and say, okay, if you plug this in, what effect will it have? Do you understand? What effect will it have on our overall financial stability? So it's something we can do. It's something we have to do now. Planning is what is important. You have to plan and say, okay, if we can't afford to buy this new generator set, okay, in the next 3 years, can we do that? And you plug that into what? Your budget, and say, okay, in the next 3 years, so we plan to buy a new generator. Every year, we have to take out what? Maybe 5,000 or 6,000 from what? From that year or from that term, so that at the end of that 5 years or that 4 years that you've planned, you can buy that gen. And you see that, okay, this is not working out. Then you go back to your pricing and say, okay, have we not priced right? What do we need to do? And when you are pricing, what do you look at? What do you look at for? We are pricing for school fees. You check also, you bring in all your expenses and say how much is each child going to spend. If you are doing that, you're bringing what your salary. How many teachers do you have per class? How many classroom materials or supplies would they make use of? Bring that all in and divide and say, okay, if I have this, let's say I have all my expenses is maybe 2 million per class. How many students do I need to have to be able to meet up with this 2 million, to be able to be at par with my 2 million? Okay, my class capacity is 10. So if my expenses is 2 million, definitely I need what? Probably I need to charge maybe 200,000. That's like the minimum you can charge. And you add the markup to it and say, okay, if I'm charging 200,000 per student, I can meet up with my application for that class. Then let me add what markup to it, so that from that markup I'm making my profit. Do you understand? Then you look at it and say, okay, yes, with this, then you go back to your budget and say, okay, if we do this way, then at the end of the day, we are making what? Making what? A profit. Okay. That's what's called that's other thing you can do as well. Then we have what's called, most people would say, oh, because I need to hire an accountant. Oh, I need to hire not really hire an accountant. I need to what's called make use of softwares. No, remember what you are trying to you do your expenses to the payment anymore. There are other things you can make use of. There are paid softwares, there are free softwares. You have Excel that can use to record your documents. Why spend money? Like I said, check all those things. Okay. So also, please, can you mute your mics? Thank you. Okay. Also see and look at your staffing and say, okay, what form of staffing do I need to adopt? Is it a teacher takes all subject, or is subject based, or what job can a teacher or can a person in that school do more than one job? Okay, that saves you cost. So, for example, in where I work, what's called, when we were doing our extracurricular activity last session, for one of our extracurricular activities, this last session here, they came in and said, oh, that the price has gone up. Per student, and we looked within and said, okay, this is too much. Okay, if you are doing 20,000 per student, 20,000 per student, definitely you are going to lose students from that. People will not sign up. I need people to sign up, because what is a profit center for us. And we looked within and said, okay, who can take up this extracurricular activity? Understand? And we got someone within the system that charged us a lesser price, and we added our markup to it, and we're able to meet up. We even got more students to sign up, and we made profit from that. So you get, so you need to look at it and say, okay, what can I do? What can I do differently? This is what we've been doing and it has not been working for us. Then change it. Look at it holistically and say, okay, this cannot work. Can we adopt this method? Can we let go of that external, what was it called, external extracurricular person and look within the system? Can we, what's called, rather than us outsourcing or rather than us getting vendors for plumbing, vendors for electricity, vendors to come and just change bulb, and get what, and hire an in-house what was it called, facility person that knows what to do, that can easily change a bulb, they can easily fix what's called a broken pipe, they can easily fix what a broken what's called restroom door, or stuff other than what, getting a vendor to do that every now and then. Okay, can we stop what was it called, buying ordering things from online, and get someone that will go to the market and buy these things from the market? Do you understand? Those are those things that what you need to put in place. Those are those things that would reduce what, your expenses, that will give you that extra what's called profit at the end of the of the year. Okay, your books must be up to date. You need to keep your books. You need to know what is going out and what is coming in. It is important. Okay, you keep your you need to know. You need to also reduce your debt to the barest minimum. Like I said, it's a business, it's not a charity organization. Okay, you need to let them know how is your school fees collection rate. How do you collect your school fees? Do they pay early, or is there a way that, or you give them or you say, okay, don't worry, just come to school, we won't be so hard on you, don't worry, just pay anytime? No, they take advantage of that, and that leads to bad debts. Okay, bad debts are debts that are not that I can't collect anymore. Okay, and when you're preparing your budget, I always tell people, always add a bad debt to it. Okay, you know, based on past record. Some people can come to school, but like I said, it all depends on your policy and your collection rate. Are you the school that collects your fees before school resumes? Oh, that is fine. Are you the school that collects your fees 2 weeks after, or that collects your fees at half term or at the end of the term? Do you understand? Depending on what policy you adopt. If it's at the end of the term, add a bad debt. If it's half term, add a bad debt. Because by half term, you definitely see that some people would leave. Okay, or they will keep putting and they won't come. So you have to check what your fees collection what's called policy. Do you give them what's it called, the opportunity to pay in installments? Okay, you need that money to come in. Definitely. Okay, and you know that it's from your fees collection rate that you plan your termly budget, because you need to know how much am I expecting per term. For us, or for the school I work with, we know that at least 70 to 80% of our fees comes in in the first month of resumption. So we plan based on that. And so, okay, if I expecting 80%, this 80% should at least take us to half term. Do you understand? Don't say because money has come in, don't worry, another one is coming and you spend anyhow. No, you need to plan based on what has come in. Do you get 80% of that? At the end of the 20% can now break down into the remaining 2 months of the term. So you get, your obligations must be met, salaries must be paid, and salary takes up a chunk of your tuition. So if you don't plan appropriately, if you don't say, okay, based on this 80%, let me plan and see if I can pay, then you definitely run into a problem, and that is not what we need. Okay, so you need to plan. Planning is very, very important. Check your pricing, check your books. Okay, check your assets and say, okay, how can I make use of these assets better? Do you understand? Like I said, you can open up your assets can be used as a profit center, renting of your space, renting of your bus to other people, or doing maybe Saturday classes or Saturday extracurricular activities for other people to sign up for. You get those? They are very, very important. Okay. Another thing again is like I said, minimize unnecessary administrative cost. Okay, there's some hidden cost. Do you understand? You have to locate those hidden cost. You have to locate those inefficiencies. Okay, and we think of what your outdated processes. Like I said, are you the ones that buy your other things from Jumia, your supplies from Jumia, or from or from Konga? You need to rethink those processes and say, okay, definitely Konga will add their own markup to it. Do you add our own markup to it? Whatever supply you get, add this our own markup to it. Can we get someone from within, probably our store manager or our storekeeper, to go to the market and get those things at the market rate, not at what's called Jumia or Konga rate? Do you understand? If you keep your administrative cost under control, you are sure that you have enough funds. Do you understand? Go to your classroom and say and investigate what's called leakages. Are they misusing the classroom supplies? For example, tissue, soap, and all those things. You need to check. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, this is coming back to your finance. It's coming back to your books. Okay, you need to be able to also review your cost. Okay, review your cost containment strategies. Okay, look at your cost containment related to consolidation and contracting school support service. Do you understand? Some people, we've chatted with some people and they say, oh, we can't buy bus, we outsource our bus. Why? Because it is better for them. It is cost how I put it, better for them to outsource their bus than getting a bus. Do you get? There are some that will say, oh, it's better for us to buy a bus than outsourcing our bus. So you need to look at those things and say, okay, which one works for me? Don't say because people are buying bus, oh, this school has 5 buses, and then you go and buy 5 buses. No. Is it for you? Does that work for you? Can your books take that? Can your numbers take that? Do you understand? Look at those things, okay? Look at all those cost containment strategies, okay? You can say, okay, are there some things that I need to use technology to replace? For example, we don't submit hard copy lesson notes anymore. We do soft copy. Why? Because it's our cost of printing was so high, and it was staying on our books. Do you understand? So we have to reduce our cost. We have to look for a way out to reduce cost of printing. So we moved into into e-lesson notes, into e-notes. Okay, the only thing we print out is our materials, which definitely are not like that. We have to check now. Okay, is this material necessary for you to print out? Do you understand? Is this material important for you to be printed? So we need to look at those things. Do you have any question? Any questions so far? Just ask your questions. Okay, we are here to to see how can we financially stable as a school. So ask your questions, please. You can raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Please ask your questions. What challenges are you facing as a school? What, in terms of finance, financial management, what do you need help with? No question. Okay, in the absence of no questions, then let's look at what are those books you need to keep. Okay, Ms. Fumi, do you have a question? Okay, what are those books you need to keep at the school? So you need to keep what's it called? Your income and what's called expense statements. Okay, you need to have, let me write down, income and expense statements. Okay, you need to keep your fees schedule. You need the fee schedule. You can't just say, okay, let parents pay to bank and you don't know who has paid or who is there to pay. Okay, you need to keep your cash flow. Your cash flow shows you how financially liquid you are as a school. Forget the money that is in your fee schedule. Your fee schedule shows you the total money that's coming in. Yeah, but they've not come in yet. Are they in yet? No. You get. But your cash flow shows you what has actually come in, what you have as cash. Do you understand? And shows you what you are spending. So your cash flow, yeah, I can always say you pay your cash flow on a weekly basis. Why? Because you need to know if you have enough money to run the next week. Do you get? Let's say just say, oh, let's keep on without you checking and say, okay, with this money be what's called with what we have in our account, will it be enough for us to run the next week? Do you get? So your cash flow, you have your cash received and your cash what's called paid outside. So your cash received shows that okay, on Monday or on this date, so and so came in. And your cash received shows you all your expenses. That's your cash flow that shows all your expenses, how much all the expenses you've paid out already. So you have all your expenses, like all the things you spend money on. Every day as you spend money, you go in there and put it in. Do you understand? On Thursday, on Friday, you can take a look and say, okay, this is how much that came in, this is how much that went out. With what we have left, can we run next week based on our weekly budgets and expenses? Do you get? If you know you can't run next week, then what do you need to do? Do you need to start ringing bell? Or do you need to look at next week's expense and say, okay, what can we cut out from next week's expense so that before those money that are supposed to come in next week comes in, we have something to run the week. Okay, so that's what cash flow statement was. But it is important to have a cash flow statement. You can't run your school like cash flow statement. You can't run your school only with with your expense sheet. I've been to schools that the only thing they have is expense sheet. Do you understand? They come and, oh, this is how much you spent so far. Okay, what? How do you go past what has come in? We just write a check and go to the bank and withdraw. What if you go to the bank? So you don't have, there's no plan to say, okay, if we withdraw this so much this week, how are we sure that next week we have what will take us for the week? How are you sure? How are you checking to ensure that yes, you're not going above and beyond what your budget that you've planned already? How are you sure that what you've done at the end of the month I can help to pay my salaries? How are you I'll end up in the red? Okay, so you need that cash flow statement. It is very important. Your fee schedule as well. It is important because it shows you who is paying and who is here to pay, who has paid and those that are here to pay. Okay, the income and expenses is just an overall. Do you understand? It shows you, okay, at the end of the day, this is our income, is what actually came in. Our expenses is what has gone out. Okay, are we making profit or are we making a loss? So these 3 books are important, apart from your budget. The budget is like the number one, your plan. You need to plan for it. Okay, you need to plan for it. Like I said, think numbers first. Think numbers first. Do we need to restructure our classroom? Do we need to hire someone that will do this and that, rather than getting vendors for each of our expenses, for our facility repairs? Do you understand? Like I said, for us, we have someone in house that does that for us. It's only that project. Building something new or glass or stuff like that, we hire that we get vendors. But we changing of bulb, changing of of sockets, and we have someone in house that we pay that we placed on the salary on the monthly salary and does the work. Do you understand? That way, if you do all that, at the end of the day, like I said, you are definitely going to earn extra 5% of your extra 5% profit. Okay, look at your profit centers again and say, okay, do you need to add more to it? Do we need to do lunch? If you're not doing lunch before, you can consider that. It can be in-house or it can be outsourced. Okay, extracurricular activities, renting of your space, checking your pricing to ensure that your pricing is strong enough. Okay, am I charging right, or I'm just charging based on what people in my area, the schools in my area are charging? Do you understand? Don't look at your competitors. Look at your own. Look at your books. Look at your numbers and say, okay, is this price right for me, or I need to change my price? Am I overcharging or undercharging? Can you trick it? You need to know. Most times you undercharge. You don't overcharge. You undercharge, and that is what affects our books at the end of the day. Okay. Also plan for savings. Don't wait
hello,
to get.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. You need to close your session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we are wrapping up now.
Just wrap up, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Always plan for what your savings. Don't wait till the end of the what's it called, of the term or of the year before you say you can save. Okay, any cloud-based software that can be used by a base group. Okay, so for okay, for us, for we make use of what? Of Excel. Do you understand? We make use of Excel. Excel does most things, but if you know you don't want to use Excel, you can use Sage. Okay, Sage is a cloud-based software that I can use to monitor your books. Okay, my time is up. Any question before we go? Any question before we go? Any question before we go? As I was talking about savings, please don't wait till the end of the session to save. Start saving. Start taking out that money. If you know this week, okay, we made this amount. Okay, you can take out 1 million. You can take out 500. Take that and drop it in another account. Okay, take that and drop it in another account. It is important. It is money that you have that you spend. But if you take out that money, you are limited to what you have, which is what very important. Okay, if you check your account and you are seeing 5 million, oh, I have 5 million, I'm happy, I can spend and not spend. But if you're taking out 3 million and you have like 2 million, you are limiting yourself to that 2 million. Do you understand? Discipline, that's where it comes. Okay. Any other question? Any other question? In the absence of no question, we're calling it a day. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon. Bye for now.